995 talk995.com. It is Thursday, the 27th of August, 2026. And we've got some clouds around this morning, a 30% chance of an afternoon shower, 89 the high, 30% chance of rain tomorrow, same thing, about 89 for a high, 30% chance of rain Saturday, and then just a slight chance of rain on Sunday. So the next 3-4 days looking pretty good after that soaker yesterday that many of us got. Many in our listening area got some of those storms that, dropped a lot of rain, and there was a lot of lightning and thunder boomers. It was a little bit crazy there for a bit.
The thunder and the lightning, and I got it passed right over the top of me, as a matter of fact. When you get the lightning and thunder at the same time, it's always exciting.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there it is. And then moved pretty quickly, though.
It did. It did. Got about 20, maybe 25 minutes of a good soaking rain.
Yeah, fortunately, it was large, so we could get that 25 minutes. And it left a nice-sized puddle in my front yard. I have to keep reminding myself that it is not Monday. Because
I'm sure it feels that way for you. Both Steve and I are like, is it Friday yet?
Please, can it not be Friday already? I bet. But I keep reminding myself because otherwise I'm going to go home and I'm going to take the garbage out.
You will. Don't do that.
Put it by the road, and it's going to be like, well, it's going to sit there for 3 or 4 days, Richard. It's only Thursday. Don't do that. Bad idea. Hey, we got to congratulate the Phoenix City All-Stars.
Man, good effort last night.
Historic run of the Little League World Series. It came to an abrupt halt when Ohio, a team from Ohio, managed to demolish them 11-2.
Yeah, that was a tough loss, but they were already in the losers bracket, trying to stay in it, and they made a great effort, and it was fun to watch that team get as far as they did. So, yeah, there are some guys, some again, these are kids. I think he was 14 years old. He was like 6'1". One of the players on their team. I was like, wow. And I know there are 14-year-olds that sometimes have growth spurts and they take off and they're the tallest one in the class, but this was a big kid. He was really big kid.
Would it surprise you to know that I have not grown an inch since I was 14?
Is that right?
I was 6'1" at the age of 14. Wow. I was always the tallest one in my class, except for a kid named George. George was like 6'4" and towered over me. And he and I were always picked, for specific things when it came, kickball, we'll take Dixon. Oh, we'll take George. Everybody had to have one of the tall guys on their team for whatever the purpose was. And it was a little awkward being that tall at that age, but I grew into it. Or they grew into it. I'm not sure, one or the other.
Well, fun game last night. And again, great job, guys, and gal, to get as far as you did through all of that. It was fun.
Congratulations. Now, speaking of Valerie's hole-in-one, you're very lucky that you were not playing on this Florida golf course when a 15-year-old was apparently slowing the pace of play. And a 50-year-old named Rhett Drummond of Hillsborough County, Florida, decided that he was going to, speed him up a little bit, shall we say.
Or attempt to.
Yeah. Well, the two had words. They basically went at each other. He was talking about the team just playing too slowly at Landsbrook Golf Club in Eastlake. The two were apparently being disrespectful to each other, according to the Pinellas County Sheriff's Officer arrest affidavit. And they went their separate ways. You go, oh, good. Okay, so that ends all well. That ends well. Nope. Drummond later approached the victim on his golf cart and crashed into the teen's vehicle.
Oh, no.
The
adult was not adulting.
No, he was not. Drummond then grabbed the victim by the shirt collar, threw him to the ground, and hit him in the head and face multiple times, according to the affidavit. A responding police officer said the victim had a bloody nose and red marks around his neck. The affidavit also said that Drummond admitted to his involvement in the altercation. Involvement. The victim and his mother told police they want to pursue criminal charges against Drummond. Drummond said, well, my mom's going to go get you, I'll tell you.
My mom's tougher than you are.
Drummond was booked into Pinellas County Jail, released on $500 bond, according to jail records.
See, that should have never led to that.
No.
That's just is absolutely crazy.
This makes me wonder, because there is such a thing as playing through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
the 15-year-old could have let him do that. But if if you don't approach that properly, it can lead to, road rage. That's kind of what it is on the golf course. It's just like, be nice about it.
Only thing we don't know, though, is were they on separate foursomes or did this guy get assigned? Did the 15-year-old get assigned?
Now, I would think they were playing separately. And that's kind of how that goes.
Because they had separate golf carts?
Yeah, or, you got a group in front of you. The 15-year-old obviously was in front of him because the 50-year-old said that he wasn't keeping up pace. Well, the 15-year-old probably should have said, hey, why don't you go ahead and play through? If I'm holding you up and there's no one in front of him, obviously he is probably pacing slow. The other thing you have sometimes, too, is you've got two people that are playing, and then you might have a foursome.
That's true.
Well, the foursome is going to play a little slower, so maybe the 15-year-old was in a foursome, and Drummond was either by himself or maybe just one other person. So, take it for what it is or ask, hey, can I play through? But somehow this must have gotten sideways where they were yelling at each other before they even got to that.
Why don't you ask?
Yeah, just ask and say, look,
there may have been some cocktails involved.
Maybe alcohol could have been a part of this. Yes,
suggest that there may have been some cocktails involved.
Could be.
And
the 50-year-old, decided not to act like a mature adult. I mean, for the love, this is a 15-year-old that could be, your son or maybe even grandson.
Yeah.
At this point.
Tommy wants to know, Valerie, what hole was it? And congratulations.
Thank you. It was hole number 3 at Oak Mountain. The Oaks.
Hole number 3.
Yep.
Okay. Nice to know.
Thank you very much for the congratulations. It'll probably be my one and only. I'm just glad in my life I was able to do that.
Look, there are people who live their entire lives and never have one.
I know.
Yeah.
And others that do it all the time and it's no big deal. I'm like, that's not me.
No. Remember the story of the woman who claimed that she was getting all these holes in one, and they were like, how are you doing this?
Not easy.
No, it was very strange. She appeared on, I think it was the Today Show or Good Morning America or something like that, and she was, whacking golf balls on a par 3, and she's like, oh, yeah, that one went in, and whatever, Matt Lauer's standing there going, how can you see that? Oh, I just have a sixth sense for this. How can you read the green? Oh, I can read it from here. It was a big scam. I mean, because she had something like 22 holes in one in 3 weeks or something like. I mean, it was insane.
Possible. Yeah.
And they think she had an accomplice working with her. And while you were working your way there, somebody would get that ball in the cup and be like, there you go. See, there's 3 in there.
That's a proud moment to lie and cheat about that.
Exactly.
That's not even funny.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
That's very strange.
That is strange. Was she looking for some extra attention or something?
This was about 20 years ago. Oh, I'm sure she was.
Yeah.
When the expose ran on her, that not the Today Show thing, but rather the article that was in probably a golf magazine ran on her, and got all the feedback. It's exactly what you're saying, which is there's no way this happened. She is lying, not possible, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Suddenly she gave up the game of golf and just disappeared and went fishing. I
mean, you could get a large bucket of balls and be, 70 yards out from a hole and hit that whole bucket of balls and not hit one hole in one.
No.
And you're telling me she did it like 22 times in 3 weeks.
Yeah, crazy.
Not happening.
No,
she's the same woman I heard who said that she got a 48-pound bass.
She did that later, yes, after she took up the fishing
and
thing.
I don't know if you know this part of the story. I didn't know that I hit a hole in one.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, there were guys on the hole that sits up a little higher, number 8, and they were looking over, and they happened to watch me tee off, and it went in. And a few minutes, a couple seconds later, there's all this noise, and they're yelling hole in one, and I thought one of the guys over there made a hole in one. And they're like, well, hole in one, and they're raising their arms, and I'm like, what's going on? Why are they good for? And I'm like waving, good for you, congratulations, thumbs up. And they're like, no, you hit the hole in one. I was like, no, I didn't. I hit it way past the hole.
Buy us a drink.
It went in. I think that's what they were after.
That's what they were hoping for.
I was like, that's why I ran to the car after the round was over.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Congratulations. You didn't even get to enjoy it in the moment.
Nah, I'll go back and buy everybody a beverage on a Sunday afternoon when no one's
there.
About 2 minutes before closing time.
Yeah, on a rainy Sunday afternoon when no one is there. Good plan. You want to control the time. You want to control the pace. You want to control everything about the sale of your piece of property, except maybe the price. Because if you're guessing the price, then you can guess too low and give away the farm, so to speak. Or you can guess too high and have it sit there and languish and go nowhere, and everybody wonder what's wrong with that piece of property. How come no one's buying it? If you let the market set the price, because, look, demand drives price. Price does not drive demand. Demand drives price. If you let the market set the price, then you can be assured that you're getting the best market value because you've got qualified buyers bidding against each other for that piece of property. You have a date certain of sale, a date certain of close, and you get all the money, that last bid, whatever it was, because the buyer is paying all the closing costs. The buyer is paying all the cost of sale. Because you don't have to put up with ridiculous things like contingencies. Ugh, I had a couple of those fell through when I was trying to sell my house. It was such a pain. And you don't have to worry about things like punch lists. All you have to worry about is getting to Granger Thagard Auction Marketing's website, gtauctions.com. gtauctions.com. You go visit with Jack and company, and they'll kind of walk you through the process. If you already have a listing agent, bring them along. It's another great tool that they would like to use. I guarantee it once they find out about it. gtauctions.com. Granger Thagard Auction Marketing, the best way to move your piece of property A little bit of April wine. Seems early for that. 8:22.
Or is it late?
You mean the time of the morning to
Oh, well,
play
I
it?
mean, not really.
Is that
It's
what you're
actually
saying?
it's August 27th. It's never too early for that.
No, April. No.
8:22 with Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, Talk 99.5.com. Rodney's Marine is the place you need to be this weekend. Why? Because it's going to be beautiful weather. They have got Suzuki-powered motors. They got boats. They got Silverwave. They got StarCraft pontoons and tritoons. They got the 5 years on that Suzuki motor, that engine. And they have got in-house financing with low monthly payments. They've got new boats. They've got used boats. They've got the nicest people in town. They've got accessories. They got boats you can rent. I think I've covered everything there, Valerie. We're
Yeah,
done.
I don't have
Thank
anything.
you.
Yeah, that's
Done.
good. No.
Thank you.
The rental thing is fun because the boats are really beautiful. If you've not been maybe out on a boat in a while, and maybe you're thinking of maybe doing something special for somebody, anniversary or birthday, they have a boat with a slide. It is the party boat, and if you've never maybe been out on Lake Logan Martin and seen the party slide boat, it is fun. Everybody that gets on it has a blast, and it's at Rodney's Marine for you to rent. So this is a great opportunity maybe just to get out there, rent a boat, tool around Lake Logan Martin and Cropwell and that area and see what it's all about, and then purchase a boat from Rodney's Marine. And you don't necessarily have to be out on Lake Logan Martin to make this all happen. Maybe you're at Smith Lake or Lake Martin. You can certainly purchase a boat, and Rodney will get that boat to you. And then anytime you need any service done on it, he's right there waiting and able to help you in any way that he can. Rodney's is one of the largest StarCraft and Suzuki dealers in the state of Alabama, and you're dealing with one of the nicest guys in the business. He's going to treat you right. Prices are fair. And again, the Suzuki engines with the 5 years of motor protection, you can't go wrong with this. 525-1500. Call him today. Inquire about renting a boat. Talk to him about maybe purchasing a boat. Check them out on Facebook, and their website is rodneysmarine.com.
And now, it's Dixon and Vining's top 3 things you need to know.
This story is a little disturbing, and it is a local story involving a registered sex offender. Police have said that this guy rented a space at the Pelham Rec Center to conduct private basketball training sessions for youth. Pelham police have identified this person as Shaman Jaquin Dunn. And apparently somebody recognized him from a sex offender registry, contacted police, and through this investigation, they found out that, we've got a guy that's got a problem and has some past history. The story is that apparently he was accused of raping a woman. This was 8 years ago, 2018. In Hoover. The offense happened, and apparently there was a gymnasium at Shades Mountain Community Church, 2200 block of Old Tyler Road, leased by Heritage Christian Academy, and that's where all of this started. And here this guy is now down in Pelham, renting a space not associated really or affiliated with anybody, not the Pelham Parks and Rec or Pelham Youth Athletics. He's just down there renting a space. I'm like, oh no! What are we doing here? Are we not? Yeah. So initially charged with first-degree rape and first-degree kidnapping, did a plea agreement in 2022, and those charges were reduced to sexual assault and second-degree kidnapping, according to these records. But he's setting up a booth down at the Pelham Rec Center. Mm-hmm. What the heck?
If they had known that he was a registered sex offender, they probably would not have rented to him. That would be my
absolutely.
Guess, which is why he was keeping it under wraps. He thought maybe he could get away with it.
Yeah, and maybe using an alias and pretending to be someone else that he wasn't. But somebody had good knowledge and looked it up and noticed and recognized this guy and called police. Otherwise, he might still be down there.
Good news.
Yeah, good for them. Well, we brought this story to you yesterday, and we're getting more details about it, that massive mudslide following a 4.4 magnitude earthquake between Nepal and China. Just a ginormous wall of mud covered and decimated buildings. A lot of the video that has been captured is just unbelievable to see. 353 people now dead, 1,300 still missing. 65 Americans are among the missing. The flooding damaged roads has taken out all kinds of bridges. So they can't get through there. Very difficult for emergency crews to get to some of these areas. We saw an elderly woman that had been rescued. There was somebody else in the military that had a person on their back completely covered in mud. You couldn't really even see their eyes. But this is what they're dealing with, and it's an absolute mess there. And when I talk about a wall of water, this wasn't just or a wall of mud. I can't even describe. We're talking like anywhere from 5 to 8 stories tall.
Yep.
Is how massive this was.
It also, we got a little more insight into what happened here is that there was a glacier that was kind of holding all that stuff back. And the earthquake shook that loose.
And then it all.
It was like, yeah, Katie barred the door. It was over at that point. Yikes.
It's hard to watch some of those images. Some interesting news coming out of Montgomery. There's a new vehicle that you might be interested in purchasing once it's manufactured. Hyundai says it's going to have a new vehicle that will provide extended range electric vehicles. It'll go as far as 600 miles. I looked at this vehicle, and if the images that they're putting out is the actual EREV Santa Fe, it looks very similar to the Lexus GX 550. If you've seen that car, it's kind of a big vehicle.
Yeah.
But it will not be a conventional hybrid, but a combustion engine that will act as an onboard generator to recharge the battery pack while driving. So they're going to use a smaller battery pack than the traditional EVs, and Hyundai is going to, take away some of the concerns that people say, well, it doesn't go very far, and then I'll have to charge halfway through my trip. Well, if you can combine that, you might have something here.
If they have figured out the bugaboo of the battery being dead in 7 years, that would also be helpful.
That would be good.
No idea what that would cost, but if it's smaller, it's probably less expensive, right?
Maybe a little discount on that. I mean, you've bought the vehicle.
Yeah.
Help me out when I need a battery. Maybe.
Well, we shall see. We shall see. I do believe the hybrid is more the future than all electric, but what do I know? I don't own either of them.
Well, I think people are more apt to maybe consider this versus I'm going all electric.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of people that shut that down immediately.
Yep.
But if you look at this, you might go, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe it's a gateway drug.
Right. Get you in there and then we got you now.
Off the petrol and onto the AC/DC power.
Yep.
I love it. 8:30 Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Meta settles the big lawsuit. Kind of right before Mark Zuckerberg was supposed to take the stand. We'll discuss. Stick around. Hold your head up. 8:37. Dixon inviting Talk 99.5, talk995.com. I was going to do a story about Enos Kanter, freedom, in the WNBA,
Yeah,
but I don't want to talk about the WNBA anymore.
you don't. It's getting an awful lot of attention.
Yeah, stupid.
It's getting too much attention.
Maybe too much. Oh, yeah. Still not a definition. Just saying no, you're not eligible.
So
I'm identifying as a female,
Yep.
but you're going to tell me I'm not eligible. But I thought that was part of it, that I could identify as a female and still be eligible, even though I'm a former NBA basketball player.
When you start to pick apart their arguments, they just can't hold up.
They
They
can't.
know this.
Uh-huh.
And this is why they want this whole thing to just get swept under the rug. They
Don't
want
sweep
the
it. Do not sweep it. Make them define it.
they want the luxury of being able to virtue signal and not actually have to, do the things that they are supposedly in favor of. It's like, wealthy billionaires go, oh, rich people need to pay more taxes, knowing full well that they're not going to pass those laws. And so they can sit around and yell that
Say it
all
all day
day
long, yeah.
and look good while they're saying it without the intention of ever paying taxes. And if they do get the taxes raised, they can find a way around
Well,
it.
and the most bizarre, virtue signaling is one thing, but where are the people that are standing up for women in women's sports? And that's the part that amazes me, is that the WNBA, obviously by not defining what that is okay with biological males playing in women's sports. And that's what they're saying by not defining what a woman is for the WNBA.
On the upside, it is bringing out a few more women who are willing to say, hey, because we didn't know where Sophie Cunningham stood before this. Now we know, and she's standing by it, and as well she should. Again, 75-25 issue. Maybe 80-20. It's just crazy to me that anybody's even trying to take the other side on this thing. It's so silly. I find the Meta settlement fascinating. Meta being Facebook, Instagram, that's the umbrella company that sees over or oversees the number of social media sites and things that the claim was that it addicts children. Oh, they're trying to addict children. I think everybody's heard the story or the phrase, I need to figure out something I can make for a dime, sell for $1, and it's addictive. Everybody wants their stuff to be addictive.
Yeah, you want more of it,
Yeah.
right? Whatever it might be. Could be Oreo cookies.
It's one of the
Let's
reasons.
make them addicted to Oreo cookies, and
right.
they'll buy more.
Well, it's one of the reasons that they use more high fructose corn syrup than sugar is that high fructose corn syrup has addictive properties. It kind of hides your satiety level. You can eat a lot of it without recognizing that you're full. Whereas if it was sugar, after 2-3 cookies, you'd be like, that's enough of those. You can go through half a box of Oreos because of the high fructose corn syrup, which is not healthy, obviously. But yeah, everybody wants to make something that is addictive. And, Zuckerberg and company realize that the longer these kids stay on their devices, the more money Meta is going to make. And so the altruistic folks who decided that they were going to, this lawsuit, what is it, 29 states? Yeah. 29 states got together. We've got to stop this addictive nonsense. This is terrible. It's the worst. We have to figure out a way to break this up and stop Mark Zuckerberg from giving our kids this addictive technology. It's just wrong. And Zuckerberg and company said, how about $17.1 billion to just go away? And they said, oh, okay. They were so committed. Now, yeah, there's supposed to be some changes, a settlement that includes, some sort of rearranging of teen accounts, especially. But, this reminds me of the cigarette case under Bill Clinton back in the 90s when they were like, we got to stop all these smokers. This is terrible. These people, they're addicting people to cigarettes, and it's a nightmare. And the cigarette company said, how about you throw a few $1 billion your way? Okay, we'll
put
go
a little
away.
label on there. Smoking is not healthy, blah, blah,
Okay,
blah.
we'll leave.
No,
Obviously, it was never about that.
Not only that, you're making a good point about that money seems to be taking care of this with a few little changes. But I think, again, this is, if you talk about Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and all of the social media sites that are out there, what Zuckerberg maybe was doing with Facebook and TikTok and those sorts of things, is there not some responsibility on the parent's part, because you're the one that has to provide your child with a device?
Oh, of course.
Your child is not going to be able to afford an iPad or an iPhone or anything else where they have access to this. You're providing it, and you're the one, for the most part, that gets to monitor what they do and what they see and where they go. And I know many parents, that wouldn't be reasonable for them not to have a phone or an iPad. All right, well, don't provide them access to some of these sites.
Yep.
I mean, is there not some responsibility on the parent? Just like, you're not going to provide alcohol to your child. When you're 21 and want to make that decision yourself, you can. But until then, there are some things that may not be very good for you, so we're going to prevent you from having access to them.
Yep.
Horrible food,
Yep.
right? Kids that are really, really obese, a lot of times that's not the kid. That's what's being brought into the household as far as nutrition for that child.
Yep.
That's the parent that's doing
Sure.
90% of that.
Yeah, those kids are not. They're
not
buying
fat on their
groceries.
own. Right. They're not buying their own. They may be eating wrong at school.
Sure.
Or they're picking up a snack or two, but that's not what's got them where they are. And so I just feel like there's a little bit of, where's the parental parameters on this and the responsibility with the parents as well. And again, I know parents that say my kids aren't having any kind of device and no access to any social media until they're 16 or 17 and able to drive and, becoming a young adult. And there are parents out there that do that.
Well, we've reached a kind of an interesting point in American society. One side of the coin involves parents that are so involved in their children's lives. They are, I made mention of this a couple of weeks ago, or last week, maybe it's all blended together. The parents who still call their children at college to wake them up to go to class.
No.
Which is insane.
Absolutely crazy.
Absolutely insane.
That is ridiculous.
But what happens is these guys, they have done so much for their children that their children are now these fragile snowflakes who can't do anything for themselves. And, that's the one side of the equation. That's a helicopter parent who kind of did everything. The other side is those who say, I'm just going to let the government raise my kid, which means I'm going to send him off to school and he's going to learn to read and write and do arithmetic there. And I'm not going to help him in any way, shape, or form. If he gets in trouble at school, I'm going to go blame the teacher. And the government should do something about these apps. They should do something to keep my kid off of them. And you're like, you should do something. You have the
You
power.
have the power to do it, right.
You're really the most important person in this equation. You're the mentor, the person who's supposed to be raising that kid. Now, a little help from the government, sure. When you start talking about things like a reduced price school lunch program or something like that, you can get a little help from the government when it comes to raising your kid. But to just hand them over to the government and go, here, you take care of this. And when they don't do it the way you want, you get all upset and say, well, you guys should have come up with something to fix that. That's the two sides of the parenting. You find those in between kids rarely. The ones who are the ones who are raised properly by probably Gen X parents, potentially even. Well, I don't know what comes exactly after Gen X. It's not millennials, is it?
Gen Y.
Gen
See,
Y.
who can keep up?
But anyway, somewhere in that zone. And the problem is, we had a lot of kids, a lot of people our age who grew up and said, well, I'm not going to raise my kid the way my parents raised me. Now, I have a lot of complaints about my parents, starting with the Halloween story. But, when you look at it, I was raised to make my own decisions. I was raised to be responsible for myself. I was raised to, school was important. It wasn't the only thing, but it was. I was expected to get good grades, and I wasn't going to be paid for them. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of things that went into that, and I couldn't complain about any of them. I said, when I have a kid, I'm going to try to raise it kind of like the way I was raised.
I agree with you.
Because this
very
one,
much so.
Yeah. But there's a whole bunch of people out there that are like, oh, my parents were mean and they wouldn't let me this, that, and the other thing. And so I'm going to buy my kid a car when they turn 16 and I'm going to this, that, and the other. You're just like, what are you doing? Let the kid do a little bit. Let the kid learn and go and be.
And it was even to a point with my son, and, your daughter's a little bit older than my son. But, as a kid, I tried to do a lot of the same things that my parents did. Come home, get a snack. We're going to do some homework. Knock out the homework pretty good, 30 minutes, an hour.
Get it done.
And then you can jump on your scooter or your bike, take off in the neighborhood, go see all the kids run around. And he did a lot of that, the skateboarding and the bikes and we're going to go over here and we're going to ride our bikes, a quarter mile down the road. Go.
Yeah.
Go have a good time. Get out of the house. But for heaven's sakes, we're not going to sit in front of the TV. We've had enough computer all day at school.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Get out and do those things. And I think a lot of that's lost because parents are like, no, next door neighbors. Kids came home from school and never saw them again. They came in, they got off the bus, and they were in the house the whole day, the whole night. Never got out because they probably went right back on to either a TV or a computer.
Or it was a hostage situation.
Yeah, it could have been a hostage. I didn't think about that. I probably should have called the police on that. I did tell you that story about the kids screaming and yelling that day.
Yeah.
I was walking Lucy, and there's these horrendous screams coming out of this house. To the point, I was very concerned about whoever was in there. And I called somebody that I knew that was in law enforcement. I said, hey, could you just come see what's going on? Because I'm hearing just shrills of, my gosh, help me. And it happened to be a kid with a set of headphones on, and he was playing one of these shoot-'em-up games on, and he was screaming at the top of his lungs like he was the one being shot. I thought somebody was, dying inside the house.
Beautiful.
But, I mean, that's an example of didn't get out and run around and do the normal things and didn't get away from all of that's out there now on the internet. I mean, just never took a break.
And what are you creating? In the long run,
Right.
what are you creating? A kid
Good
who's going to
question.
lose their job to AI. 8:49 with Dixon and Vining. Anthony and Company Jewelers, 2080 Valleydale Road next to Ragtime Cafe. This is the place to pick up that specific, designed just for you piece of jewelry for your anniversary, birthday, whatever the special occasion is, maybe a just because present, Anthony and Company Jewelers has something to fit every budget. I don't say that often enough. They really do, Sometimes you walk into some of these high-end stores, and if you don't got $2,000 or $3,000 in your pocket, you ain't going to get nothing there. But that is not how it works at Anthony and Company Jewelers. You should definitely drop by. And if you don't know exactly what to get, let their very helpful staff walk you through it. They'll ask you a few questions about the person that you're purchasing this for and what they have now, and eventually you're going to come to a great conclusion. That's Anthony and Company Jewelers, AnthonyCoJewelers.com on the web, AnthonyCoJewelers.com, 987-2224 on the telephone, or 2080 Valleydale Road next to Ragtime Cafe. Tom Jones just recently did this on television and sounds every bit as good today as he did back then. So, of course, it's the Prince song Kiss, Tom Jones and the Art of Noise. I saw him do this at Oak Mountain Amphitheater in 96, 97, something like that. Man, the guy's got a voice from who knows where. It is 8:56 with Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5 and Talk99.5.com. Some of the texts we received, David says, Valerie, I'm amazed at the size of some of these players in the Little League World Series, but the ages are 10 to 12. Mm-hmm. The rules to participate in the 2026 Little League Baseball World Series players must be strictly 10, 11, or 12 years old, determined by their age as of August 31st, 2026. Okay. I saw one kid with a mustache. I'm just saying. Lynn says, regarding Meta, since they made that announcement about the settlement, my Facebook's been down. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Tracy says, good to hear your voice on the airwaves again. Richard, thank you. Appreciate you. Kevin, no one wants to take responsibility for their actions. They just want to blame someone else. Some do.
Mm-hmm. Or figure out a way to get some money.
Yeah.
Kind of the case with Meta.
Mm-hmm.
Meta.
Yeah, when you make a big stink about how you're going to clean this up and get it straightened out, and then you settle for money, you might be the problem. 8:57, a former Texas high school teacher has been arrested after a probe into an inappropriate student relationship. Holly Adams faces charges of tampering with evidence and furnishing alcohol to minors in Brazoria County. But this is what I find truly amazing. Holly taught at Angleton High School near Houston, and she is charged with 1 count of tampering with evidence and 2 counts of purchasing and furnishing alcohol to a minor.
Uh-oh.
The probe began after a student told school staff that Adams was having an inappropriate relationship with a former student. The student told school officials that the victim FaceTime called him over the summer from a bedroom in Adams' house. The bed was covered in nude photos of her, according to the news outlet.
Yikesy.
Another image depicted Adams and the former student cuddling. Adams reportedly invited students to her home to perform chores.
Chores.
And she allegedly
That's what
admitted to
she called
speaking
them.
with 3 members of the school baseball team on Snapchat.
Oh, no.
No, I think she was. I think she actually, this is what I find fascinating. She's luring them over, and they're like, hey, that hot teacher wants us to go over. And when they get there, she's like, here's a rake.
Mm-hmm. We're going to start out with a rake, and then it'll wind up with something a little later.
Maybe.
What the heck?
Maybe. Yeah. Jeepers creepers. At least there's not a husband involved, as near as I can tell, right?
Let's hope not. I mean, that would make the story even worse, would it not?
I'm pretty sure.
It foul here, right?
Yeah.
You're a teacher. No to students.
Yeah.
How about that?
All right.
Never. I don't care if it's a female teacher and a male student or vice versa. Just stop.
Yeah.
Why? Why you as an adult cannot control yourself and say, I'm not doing this with any student?
Well,
Find somebody your own age, for the love.
She couldn't afford a lawn service, Valerie.
Golly.
That's the real problem here.
Well, how come it led to that? Just fine.
I think it only led to that with one student.
Oh.
The other students were her little minions. Like,
I just don't understand this. It happens in our state all the time.
Yeah.
About every third week, here's another teacher that had sex with a student. Stop. It's just so stupid.
Yep. It seems like maybe we should weed those people out before we allow them to get into the educational game.
It's head shaking.
I don't know how you do that exactly. Show them a picture of a student. Does this sexually arouse you? Yes. You can't be a teacher. I'm sorry. 9 o'clock. Dixon and Vining, Talk 99.5.